Are you a shark?
Sorry?
Well, you've been circling the lobby for the past half hour. If you'd stop, you'd die.
Well, if I stopped, I'd be standing around with no one to talk to, at which point death would be a relief.
Why do you talk to Bob?
Bob is talking to the governor. Do I know you?
Nikki Gardner, senior associate, Wooten Sims.
Oh. Hey, hi. It was your office that called and with the invitation and...
Bob's orders.
Yeah, listen, I don't actually know Bob. I mean, I've only met the man once.
Interesting. Do you like opera?
Truth is, I haven't really had that much exposure.
Me neither. Bob assigned you to my team. I'll be supervising your casework, steering you through office arcana, and generally keeping my eye on you.
Oh, kind of like a mentor.
Kind of like a probation officer.
Okay.
Wooten Sims expects absolute loyalty and 110% performance. But you get to work on legendary litigation at national, even global scope. It's high stakes, and it's cutthroat, even within our own team. We burn through associates at an astonishing rate.
You're trying to scare me.
Yes.
You're gonna have to try a little harder.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Who are you? We had a lawyer in our criminal division, Calvin Tyler, fresh out of Yale. One of our richest clients gets pulled over DUI. Routine bullshit, so naturally Calvin gets it. Against you. Next thing we know, Calvin's fired, and Bob Wooten, who never so much interviews a junior associate, let alone hires one, says you're on my team.
It was a good bust. So Calvin came to me for a deal. I told him if he could arrange an interview for me with Mr. Wooten, I would throw the case. I laid out his arguments and evidence for him, and I showed him how I would lose. Calvin set up my appointment for the day after our court date. Then he did what I suggested in court, and I wiped the floor with him. Your client got the maximum the next day. I met with Mr. Wooten. Bob.
Wow. You want to know what's so brilliant about that?
Yes.
Is that you didn't actually do anything wrong.
Well, I wasn't entirely honest with Calvin.
You gonna get that?
Everyone I need to talk to is right here.
We need to talk about your transition timetable.
All right?
Bob wants you up to speed on the case in 2 weeks from this Tuesday. He believes in trial by fire because we have to be on a plane to Chicago for a deposition and a class action against our biggest client, Armstead Pharmaceutical.
No problem.
So that means catching up on 3 years' work in 2 weeks when you haven't even left your old job yet.
I'm good at trials, even by fire.
You know, a little bit of fear can actually be a really healthy thing.
Well, I'm looking forward to a time when I can afford the luxury of having some.
I'll leave the Armstead materials in your new office.
Thanks, boss.